what challenging that empowered you become who you are today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Transformation Healing Podcast. I'm your host, Riya Wang, the certified transformation healing coach, a spiritual teacher. In the past years, I've been traveling around the world to study and teaching how holistic healing that can transform our lives. In this podcast show, I have invited my guests from all over the world come to here to share the stories, the wisdom, and the knowledge with all of you, that you can implement these tools into your daily life. Let's make the healing a part of ourselves to transform ourselves, to transform our life to a deeper level. Today, I have a special guest. This guest, she was struggling with the chronic fatigue for years and was trying to figure out the solution to regaining her energy naturally. But she felt like she had tried everything, yet nothing was working. It wasn't until she became a certified Ayurvedic teacher and started to implement these ancient healing systems into her life that she will return to her life. Welcome to my guest, Anna. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I wanted to say Anna is the CHOPA certified well-being teacher, well-being coach, and meditation teacher who empowered women to craving holistic balance to create lifelong alignment through her coach. That is amazing how you can help other people and help, not just help yourself, and help other people. And before you come here, I always ask all of my guests, so tell us where you're from now.
Yeah, so I am living in northern Colorado in the mountains. I've spent most of my life in Colorado. I've traveled around a decent amount. I lived in New Zealand for a year after school, after I graduated from college, and I went to college in Kansas. But yeah, I've spent most of my life in Colorado. So we're getting a lot of snow this season.
Yes, this year I think it's really different. The weather, even in California, I'm living here. I can see the snow mountain this last week was really cold.
Yeah, I heard that you guys were going to get snow up in the mountains near LA. That's crazy.
Yes. So I'm curious about, I think our listener also curious about how can you share a little bit about your chronic fatigue, the energy, the things you've been dealing, and how is that challenging you in your life?
Yeah, so I honestly can't remember exactly when I started to really deal with chronic fatigue, but it was probably that it really started to impact my life was when I was in college. And I felt like my energy would really ebb and flow, but like when it was low, it was so low. And I just felt so exhausted. I felt like I couldn't do any kind of workouts or exercises to make me feel good and strong. It was so inconsistent because my energy levels were so inconsistent. And that was really frustrating as somebody who wanted to live an active and healthy lifestyle. And so I had an opportunity when I was in college to go visit a clinic in Europe and get some blood work done, do some procedures, like non-invasive holistic procedures there. And they diagnosed me with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disorder. They gave me literally a suitcase full of supplements. Like, I'm not kidding when I say a suitcase. It was so many supplements. It was so overwhelming. Like, I had to go back to school as a 22-year-old and manage, 30 minutes before, an hour before, 15 minutes before my meals, taking all of these different homeopathic supplements, which were amazing and they were helpful. But for me, that routine wasn't sustainable.
I can't imagine like the young kids like you, always want to go out, maybe have activity. Now you have tons these pills you have to take. That's probably really frustrating.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. I had a set of drawers, like plastic college drawers in my room that was literally for supplements.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you transform from with that, frustration? Then I bet that very affect probably your emotional well-being. It's not just, taking the pill with frustration. Yes, it's emotion, but how do you overcome with your emotion then to become the well-being coach today?
Yeah, it was tough. It was emotional. I felt, I completely changed my diet as well. I was vegan and gluten-free while I was taking all these supplements, which is a really restrictive diet to do together as well. Anybody who's done it knows that it's challenging to figure out. Once you figure it out, it's like, it's just your life. But I just didn't want to live like that. And so I decided to travel and just kind of let my heart guide me. And so my partner and I moved to New Zealand. And then when I came back, I got a job as a health coach with Noom, the weight loss company, like right at the beginning of COVID. It was April of 2020. That was my introduction to coaching. And I knew I wanted to go out on my own and do my own coaching. And that was when I found the Chopra program. And I signed up for that. And in January of 2021, we started the Ayurvedic health course. And I learned about my unique mind-body type. If you're familiar with Ayurveda, this is the dosha. And I was able to get a better understanding of my body. And once I started to implement different types of food that were going to support my body better, different types of cooking and preparing foods, and different types of exercise, like within a few weeks, I started to get my energy back. I had felt stronger than I ever had. And that winter season, I was ski instructing in Colorado and I was working part-time because I was so exhausted. They offered me a full-time position as a ski instructor and I had to turn it down because I would be winded and like so exhausted walking 2 blocks to the bus stop. And so it was definitely a emotional roller coaster. But once I started to implement these Ayurvedic practices and really realized and experienced that transformation of like, okay, you understand your body type, you understand how to support it. That is when you go into balance. And that's when you feel like truly healthful. And I went and I got test results and my thyroid levels were in the normal range. They couldn't detect the Hashimoto's anymore.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I know we met in the Chalpas program. Us, we are both Chalpas graduated teacher. But here, can you share a little bit about you talk about the body type? Is there how many body type people will be know?
Yeah.
And what body type you are? So just share. Probably we go to a little bit more deeper personal sharing in here. So let people know. How do they know they have different body type?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 3 different constitutions or doshas. There's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And there's plenty of quizzes online, free quizzes. You can go to chopra.com or search Chopra dosha quiz and you'll find it on Google and you can take a quiz and you can figure out your basic nature. So what you are when you're in balance. And then it'll also let you know what your current imbalances are and how to support that through lifestyle change. I myself am Vata Pitta. So I will
same. I'm the Vata Pitta also.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So we all have all three of the doshas within us. To some extent, we have a different level of each, but we typically, each person has one or two primarily dominant doshas. It's very rare that you're tridoshic, where you have a balance of all three, but I actually have had a client who has been tridoshic, which was really interesting because I had never met anybody who was tridoshic before. But it's a good starting place to understand your constitution. If you're really struggling, if you feel like you're doing it all, if you feel like you're going to acupuncture and getting Reiki and changing your diet and like navigating through the holistic space to heal, but you still feel like something is off, understanding your unique mind-body type was the key for me. That unlocked an opportunity to feel my best and to be able to personalize my wellness plan to support me in the best way possible.
I definitely get what you said. Like before, I'm same like you, Vata and Pitta. You know, people who's like a Pitta always have this driving, have the fire inside us, right? Then Vata also give us a lot of ideas, fresh ideas. But sometimes if we are imbalanced, it's so easily to get lost with all the new ideas and also get frustrated with the Pitta. So that is definitely, I think, help the people to understanding the naturally what is the body type, and also help the understanding what is the environment to affect that. So how do you identify what is your nature, what is later on your environment, you know, you grew up, or you traumatizing, all of that? How do you can identify that and be aware to go through with the healing?
Could you repeat the question?
Okay, maybe my question is too long. Make this short.
I'm guilty of that too.
Let's talk about the Vata again. So they come to our mind and start to think about that quick zoning. Yes, okay, I will say again. So we know we have these quizzes to check, then we can go through the quizzes to know our body type, what is naturally our body type.
Yeah.
But is each one growing up with different environments, different, maybe different education, whatever they grew up, there have some people maybe have the traumatized, some, how do they trauma? So how do you, is this Vata, Pitta, or is Ayurvedic help people healing with the trauma also, or just the food, or what is that?
So there's a lot of different factors, and let me know if I'm answering this correctly. There's a lot of different factors that you can take into consideration once you know your mind-body type. And part of what we teach in the Ayurvedic health course is emotional processing. And so each of the different doshas have different emotional tendencies. It doesn't mean that they're set in stone, but there's specific tendencies in how we respond to certain situations or triggering experiences. And so, you know, it's not just how we move our body or or the foods that we eat. We can take it quite a few, like, more steps when you're thinking about the seasons. So right now it's winter, we're in Vata season. It's cold, it's dry. The spring and early summer is Kapha season. And then the summer to the fall, late or early fall, is Pitta season, when it's hot with the summer. And I think you also mentioned kind of different phases of your life. When you're a kid, that is, oh goodness, now I'm blanking. I think kid is when you're in like your youth, is that Kapha?
So I forgot a lot also when you're a kid. I was saying the season of, you know, how we are, what type body type is naturally you're born with that type, right?
Yeah.
So, but as you're growing up, you have probably evolving more other different type into your body. Like you said, we all really, it's not just Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We all have these three together, and these three body type involved with 5 elements. That's how do we identify, connect with elements, connect with the food, also identify how is the emotional evolved.
Right.
So as you said, this is winter. Winter. Can you share a little bit about what is winter help the people? How do they taking care about that?
Yeah. So like I had mentioned, winter is Vata season. So your environment, your physical environment that you're in, can either help to balance, or it can make the imbalance a little bit worse. So like, for example, I live in Colorado. I live in Steamboat Springs in the mountains. We're high elevation. So the air is already pretty dry here, and the winters are quite cold. Vata, like Riya said, these doshas are made up of elements. So Vata is made up of space and air. So when you think of, like, imagine you're skydiving and you're falling out of a plane, what are the characteristics and the qualities that you're going to be experiencing? It's going to be cold. It's going to be dry. It's going to be windy. It's going to be spontaneous and irregular, and you don't really know what's coming. So for my physical environment, being in Colorado, it's cold and it's dry, and sorry, that was my dog. It's Ayurveda views imbalances as like increasing like. So if I have a lot of cold, dry qualities in my life, my Vata is going to go out of balance more quickly. So what we want to do to rebalance is add in opposites. So for example, if you're somewhere warm and humid, even in the winter when it stays a little bit warmer, you're going to stay more in balance, especially if you're Vata, because your environment is already working to rebalance you because it's opposite elements.
That's as example, as I know I'm the Vata and the Pitta. Now, especially it's cold these few days. Every morning I just cut a few pieces, slide a few pieces fresh ginger, then cook it with the hot water. That's really helped me boost my energy, carry on in the day. I think that is beautiful. And is every Pitta, like we said, that is for the Vata, but what do they do with the Pitta and the Kapha then?
I'm sorry, my dog is being needy.
Ask you all the questions. I want the people who's listening this, then they can get more benefits from your knowledge.
Okay. Could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
So we just talk about in the winter season. Now it's a winter season. Drink the hot water with the ginger. That will be really help people like us, the Vata type. But what about the Pitta and the Kapha?
Yes. So Pitta types there's too much heat. There's too much fire. So we want to focus on cooling aspects. So water is like one of the best healing, most balancing things for Pitta, because water is very cooling. So if you want to do any kind of exercise, favoring exercise near or in water is really powerful. You want to avoid the ginger because that adds more heat. And like if you're exercising in the summer, you want to favor exercising ideally in the morning when it's really cool. So you want to avoid any kind of rigorous or intense or competitive sports, especially midday when the sun is at its peak and it's the hottest point of the day. For Kaphas, the elements are earth and water. So it can be tough to get moving, right? We can feel lethargic and tired and heavy. But typically once you do get going, you have a lot of endurance. So think of like the NFL, a lot of the linebackers are primarily Kapha. They have a bigger, sturdier build. But they want to favor drier, lighter foods because of that water element of kapha can lead to bloating, water retention. So kind of favoring the dryness. Dry brushing, if you're familiar, is a really, really great practice to use for people who have a kapha imbalance.
Well, thank you, Anna. Thank you for sharing all of these wonderful tips.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What do you say?
My pleasure.
As we are go through with this Ayurvedic, the basic Ayurvedic, I help anybody who's listening there, they will be curious. If I will carry, I want to know what my body type. I think knowing your body type is really help you can manage your lifestyle a little bit better, not just from the food, also from your emotional. There also we have the Ayurvedic meditation. I think I remember before we have that 5 elements meditation, all of this. I think it's really benefits with the lifestyle if you continue to use that. And it's easy. I love about the Chalpa's teaching, I always say it's effortless. Effortless.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Anna, to share all of your wisdom, your knowledge here. So who will be your best clients, and who you think that will can get you help? That what is that? Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, so I really focus on imperfect change and ditching the all or nothing mindset. So with any kind of behavior change, especially women, we really struggle with having a perfectionist mindset and dealing with an all or nothing mindset. And that can keep you really stuck. And that kept me stuck for a very long time. And so when you're thinking of making changes in your lifestyle, let's say like you're wanting to adopt more of an Ayurvedic lifestyle, for example, we tend to want to do all of the changes at once. We want to change all of our food. We want to change our exercise. We just want to completely overhaul our life overnight. And that leads to overwhelm. It leads to burnout. And again, that's where the all or nothing perfectionist mindset comes in. So I coach my clients who really struggle with an all or nothing mindset, and they want to get rid of that. They want to never fall off the wellness wagon again because they're making their own rules. They're letting their intuition guide them. And we do this through meditation, through primordial sound meditation. This strengthens your intuition. And so you're able to listen to what your body needs and let it guide you through your wellness practices. So you may not have a very strict routine. Maybe that's something that you want, but it's something that's never worked for you. And so we kind of explore how to set you up for success in these holistic habits in your life where you can prioritize your well-being and feel good about it and not feel derailed on the weekends, or if you have a special occasion or a vacation, you're able to go about it with the idea of imperfection and balance and trusting that your body is guiding you.
I hear you say trust your body. It's everything to guiding you. That's beautiful. Thank you. So how is the people love your tips, want to learn more about what do you do, maybe to get help from you? So what is the best contact they can reach out to you?
So email is probably best. I'm really active on TikTok. I love making TikToks. It's one of my favorite things I'm Vata. Vatas are very creative. It's one of my favorite ways to like get my creative energy flowing, is creating really fun TikToks around wellness and Ayurveda and meditation. So if you want to follow along and get tips on that, I would say follow me on TikTok. But if you want to reach out and actually connect, email or scheduling a free breakthrough call that I offer anybody who's interested in hiring me as a coach.
I know you like to make the TikTok so much fun. I watched a few your TikTok. So can you tell us what is your TikTok name?
Yes. So the handle is at Anna Lawrence Coaching, all one word. And then my email is coaching@anna-lawrence.com. I can send this all to you. I think I might have already sent it to you, but I can send it to you again, Riya, if you want to post it so people
Yes.
can see.
So this is just for audience who's listening there, then they can reach out to you. I have all your information. When after this will be all of the information is posted on there.
Perfect.
So thank you, and time passed by so fast.
It did.
Continue doing that, but it's our end of our podcast today. Thank you so much to come here to share the tips with all our audience. If you have the story, that inspiration, or you have some tips you like to share with others, come to my podcast. Here is a place to share your knowledge, your inspiration story.